Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the Squeegee Live Podcast. I'm here with Seth, Tim, and my boyfriend, Mark.
Yay!
Yeah, boy.
And Mike Nichols.
What's
This is
up?
our interview tonight. We're here with Mike Nichols, Big Squeegee.
He's in the building.
That's right.
So what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm excited. This is exciting. I've had a little PSP, just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
The pre-show poops.
I love your posts. If you take it a dump, that's the best. Man. It's never you. It's never you like actual taking the dump. It's just you. It's like, hey, I'm taking a dump, and it's just like you in a stall. You know what I mean? It's the best. I love it.
I've got 5 boys, 5 teenagers, and my wife, she's poop jokes are always funny.
Right.
Yeah.
It never stops. Oh man.
I can't imagine. Oh, what are the age range in them 5 boys?
My wife's not here to ask. The youngest is 12, and then 18, 19 is the oldest. He's getting ready to turn 20. But the two oldest live in their own place, like a quarter mile down the street. They got their own place. So, yeah, they got their own window van, their own place. And I drive by in the morning, like, why aren't you up and gone yet? It's time to.
Do they work with you, or they're on their own?
They run all the route work.
Okay.
All the restaurants and
Awesome.
storefronts and all that.
Nice.
All that. Yeah.
That's good. And how long have they been working with you?
My oldest, well, they've all been working, but how long have I been paying them?
Yeah.
They're legitimate. They're on payroll, taxes, workman's comp, all that good stuff. So everybody
Nice.
anyway, they're legitimate. But my oldest has been with me for several years. But the second oldest, COVID hit. He's working in the movie theater. He liked it. It shut down. And he started college, University of Arkansas, and it's all online. He's going to be sports broadcasting, something or other. And
cool.
decided he didn't like it, and he liked cleaning windows. So you guys helped me. At that same time, bought out another company and brought him on full time, and so put them two together. And now I'm working on switching back and forth, having work with me a day a week, learning the residential side of things until they get comfortable with it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, man. I think the easiest way to learn how to clean windows, like, and get your stroke down, is doing commercial work. That's the best way to do it. You don't have an overburdened, like, a person looking over your shoulder. You're in their house. Don't mess up my petunias. That way you can get your stroke down. You get your technique all lined out, and then there you go. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
Had them helping on residential here quite a bit lately. We got some big projects, and I had to put an order in and order a bunch of new channels because all my Unger squeegees have disappeared. And I see their videos and like that's my Unger. What are they got all my tools.
Yeah, I follow them on TikTok. I'm brand new to the TikTok thing, and I'm addicted to it. It's like crack. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's
a bunch of short videos or something.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing, man. Well, I got turned on to it because of the Window Doctor PhD, and then I get on there, and then I noticed that there's a ton of window cleaners on there, and I'm like, well, Squeegee Life should be on there. I represent, you know what I mean? So I got on there, and then I found, then Mike's son followed me, and then I was like, oh, I was assuming it was Mike's son. You know what I mean? And then the only way I knew it was Mike's son is the Support Your Local Window t-shirt. When I seen that, I was like, oh, that's Mike's son. Okay, cool. So I started following. He's got some good videos on there. I like his videos. Some of them are pretty funny. They're good. They're definitely good.
Kids they're weird.
Yeah.
Them boys are weird. But they love it when they tell me the other day, like, oh, TJ commented on her stuff, or Steve-O, like, my,
yeah.
They get all excited.
That's cool.
They're heroes,
That's cool.
Oh, man, that's fun to see. How do they work together? They work well together?
They do well. My oldest, he's like me, just kind of a, bull in a china cabinet. He just gets in there and can work and get it done.
Uh-huh.
And the long-haired Zane, he's a real people person, and I get comments all the time like, your boys are really polite, and that's Zane. He goes in and does the invoices, collects the money, or turns in an invoice or whatever, and NASA, the oldest, he's like putting up tools, and they've got their system down. They they can knock out. Of course, I used to run it all by myself,
right?
And so now it takes two of them to run the whole thing, but
right.
they got a pattern down, and it works well.
I think it works that way for everybody.
Yeah.
When you're used to doing it by yourself, you get really fast at doing things alone, and then you turn it over to somebody else, and it's like, man, it takes two of you guys to do that. But you got to keep in mind. You got to keep in mind that they're not. You know what I mean? They're not used to having to. They don't have the mentality like, man, I've got to get all this done by myself today. You know what I mean? So you're figuring out shortcuts. You know what I mean? Things to knock time off. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely know that. You know what I mean? Because I turn like my daughter or Jeremy loose on something, and I'm like, man, what is taking you so long? You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, I'm not you. I'm like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting.
You forget sometimes, like how good you are at what you do because you do it every day for a long time, and that's
right.
It seems like that's good though. Are they growing it at all too, like the commercial?
Yeah, I get calls. I got a house yesterday. Like, hey, I talked to your son at such and such, lumber, and they were cleaning the windows and pick up a house because they hand out cards, and
so you give them a kickback for that or what?
I give them for every account that you pick up, I give you a $20 bill.
Ooh.
Hey now.
So, man, I buy their lunch all the time. They at least one of them will do the reach.
Dude, you got it.
the reach. Yeah, it's customary to do the reach. You at least got to reach for your wallet. I mean, you ain't got to like get it all the way out, but at least reach for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've given them the. They'll be looking later. They'll be watching them about 8:15. They'll watch the whole thing later.
Oh, cool.
But I keep giving them the encouragement or the talk like, hey. If you get aggressive and kind of pursue some things, the more you work it, the more money you can make.
Right.
And when I see that you guys take an initiative, and you'll be making more money, and I give them cash bonuses. They helped me on a big house that had like 700 cut ups, and usually takes me forever, and it took all three of us like 3.5 hours. So give them a bonus at the end of the week. Like, here, you guys, appreciate the extra help, because I pay them a salary for everything they're running, and it stays about even. You lose one here and there, but you gain one here and there, and so that all stays about the same. But when you work extra, you make extra money. It's just kind of, I do it cash bonuses, and when I do an order like, hey, you guys want any new tools? What do you want? And that kind of thing.
But yeah, you got to treat them well, keep them motivated. I think that's a great thing. So, do you see the future of this continuing to grow?
Yes. It's grown. The last 5 months of 2020, we grew like 29.7%.
Nice.
And during COVID or whatever you want to call it. And it's been this last month, I had to take a day off because I didn't want to be coming home and falling asleep in the chair like I have been the last, few weeks.
Yeah.
But it's been great. I'm 2 or 3 calls a day, for residential.
Man, I've been experiencing the same thing, man. It's unbelievable. Just the amount of people calling. I haven't been closing everything, but man, just the amount of calls is just. I'm like, man, where do all these people come from? I'm starting to think that somebody went out of business in my area or something. Like, did somebody quit cleaning windows? Why is everyone calling me? It's insanity.
I feel like people have more of a handle on it too, because I've seen an influx here. I don't know if it's quitting everywhere, or if it's just more people are willing to, pull out that checkbook now and want they're home for so long, they're seeing all the stuff that they haven't got to. And,
right.
I'm wondering.
That's what got us busy last year. And we didn't have to do weekends last year because everybody was home. You feel me? So everybody was home during the week, so you never had to even do weekends. But I mean, it's just steady Eddie this year. I mean, we're 2 weeks out. Plus, I mean, we break off on the 19th. So Joey goes his separate way on the 19th. So I mean, it's busy, man. It's a good year. It's going to just keep that way.
Another restaurant just called me back yesterday, so that was cool. Got another one of those back. So that's starting to lean back into the yay column. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Right.
Well, here, Oklahoma's wide open. Arkansas was I'm like 3 miles from Arkansas that direction. Mm-hmm. And so, Oklahoma's cheaper property and utilities and all that good stuff. But, it's been wide open. I mean, everybody here is like, walk in. Do you want a mask, sir? No, I'm good. Just that's
right. Yeah. It's not like that here, man. It's not like that here.
The way the South works, man.
Yeah, it's different.
It's hard to understand. Yeah. Other places in the country.
Ohio is really. I mean, there's a large contingent of us that are. Our state went red. I mean, contrary to the Democrats' beliefs there, we went red like big time in a big way, and there's just a contingent of people out there that are just like they just like can't wrap their head around the mask thing, and it's just like we did the mask thing, we did the lockdown thing, you know what I mean? And they're like, well, not everybody was wearing their masks. I'm just like, where are you going that people aren't wearing their masks in public? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't go to a store, and at least around where I live, every store is littered with stuff on the window saying you cannot enter our premises without a mask. I mean, everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's 90% of the places around here, there's a sign on the door that says no mask, no service. And they will not serve you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Our congressman had to go through, or they just passed a bill. It's going through the system right now to where
taking the emergency powers away from the governor.
But they already did that, but then now they're getting rid of that where you're required to have a vaccine, that vaccine permit.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it violates HIPAA or anything like that, but I don't feel like I should have to have a passport to move freely without the world. You know what I mean? That's just not. That's really not 1776 of us to have to have like a vaccination card. You know what I mean? Like I got to have an ID or a card to say that I was vaccinated, but anybody can go and vote. They don't need an ID. Voter registration is racist. You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't make sense, man. It's clearly there's an agenda there.
saying the word surge or insurge is now white supremacist.
Oh, it is?
Like, what the fuck? Yeah. AOC just said that about the wall. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
No,
It's all right.
Yeah.
Man, we were doing so good, dude.
I was.
Tim just messed it up,
almost
man.
there.
I think that's as we've gone without swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like a-
No, I've made it a whole show before. That's not true.
No, I'm saying like anybody in the group. I think
Oh.
that's the longest we've gone collectively.
Collectively, yes. Collectively, yes. That is collectively, yes.
Arkansas 2 weeks ago opened restaurants 100%.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow the mask. It's not even a mask mandate. The law was the governor said you had to put a sign on the door.
Uh-huh.
That was the law. It wasn't you had to wear a sign. You just had to put a sign on the door. So
Right.
it was up to the business owner if you want to be a mask Nazi or not. It was up. So it was just each individual business. It was like or
Well,
please put on a mask.
having
That was-
someone in my family really close to me that has died from COVID, it's really hypocritical of me to be like, why wear a mask? But I have a very large family, and she was already sick prior. You know what I mean? She didn't die of COVID. She had a heart problem, an undiagnosed heart issue. She didn't die of COVID. You know what I mean? But it says she died of COVID. You know what I mean? But
Right.
It's definitely going to prey on the people that already have an illness. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Definitely, or you're out of shape, or so me and Mike are in trouble.
Hey, I had it. It was nothing.
Did you really have it?
Yeah, I was.
Did it go through your whole family or just you?
Just me and the wife. I say the wife gave it to me, and she wore a mask the whole time in an office, empty by herself. But
Yeah.
anyway,
So you both had it.
Yeah.
Was
But,
it tough? I mean, was it that bad, or?
No. She woke up and couldn't smell her body wash, and she's been terrified of it from the get-go. So went and got tested, and then you get tested. So now you got to stay at home, and then now she wants me to go get tested. And I'm like, I'm fine, I feel good. And so I went and got tested. And oh, you got it too.
Oh man.
Well, a couple days later, I was just kind of tired. Mowed the grass, sprayed my pecan trees. I went jug fishing.
Caught a couple less catfish because he had COVID.
I went,
You had a 2-week vacation.
went dove hunting. I kept going dove hunting. I'm like, I can be in a field by myself. I'm not
Right.
around anybody. Shot a couple cases of shells, and I figured if the game warden tried to come check me, hey, I got COVID, you got to stay away.
Right.
I got COVID and a gun. Don't I?
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, you guys want to see my guns? I'll go get them.
Yeah.
Show and tell.
Show and
But,
tell. My AR-15 is right here.
That's around the corner. But my uncle.
I'm gonna get one of those AR-12s, dude. I'm getting an AR-12.
An AR-12?
Yup, I'm getting one. Definitely getting one. I've been watching videos on it. And I've got to get one.
Why do you want to? Why do you want? Yeah, but why do you need a 12 gauge AR-15? I don't understand.
It's just because.
That's a good excuse. That's good. That was the excuse I was looking for.
It's there. I want it.
See, because every time I bring up there, like my buddy's like, man, are you gonna get a concealed carry weapon? And I'm like, yeah, man, I want a 45 long Colt revolver is what I want. You know what I mean? I want something that's gonna bark. I want an old, the old style Peacemaker, but I want to snub it up. You know what I mean? I want it to be, you know what I mean? I want it to fit, like in my pocket, but I want it to bark too. And they're like, I don't understand why you need that. I was like, you don't need to understand. It's just that's a very good deterrent. I mean, that's gonna put big holes and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Up close, yeah.
Yeah, up close. That's gonna do nasty. Well, I mean, if you think about it, you really shouldn't be pulling your pistol unless you're up close anyways, because technically that's the only time you should be defending yourself is when you can't get out of danger. So
Exactly.
if you're shooting the guy across the park, well, that's not very accurate. Well, I don't need a long rifle to protect myself. You know what I mean? I could just run away from that person. The snub nose 45 long Colt is to put holes in people real close to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Big holes. I want pumpkin size exit wounds. That's what I'm looking for.
It's getting crazy enough that I'm gonna have a gun.
The
in
world
truck.
is definitely turning on its head, man. That is definitely, it's definitely without question. I feel like the world is starting to to spin on its head.
Yeah.
It's
They
definitely.
want gun control's coming if we don't get, I mean, I don't know. The narrative, it's just a narrative.
It's you know what? The one thing I will say is all y'all been talking about what you're buying and what you got, but unfortunately for me, my house was robbed and I lost a couple guns in a fishing incident, so I don't have any more weapons.
Right.
I know. In a boating accident, lost everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to mine tomorrow.
You know, the weapons are not only hard to get, but ammunition
Oh my
is,
goodness.
oh my God, it's through the roof.
I have I have
shot right now.
I have 2 5-gallon buckets full of empties that are needed reloaded. 5.56. I have, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna buy a reloader, and unfortunately, even for those that like to reload their own stuff, the powder and the lead is almost non-existent. Primer, non-existent. It's really rough out there in the streets. That's why everyone keeps saying, gun control's coming. Listen, they may ban the sale of certain firearms, but they're never gonna pull off the let's go to everyone's house and get the guns. That's if ammunition sales is not your first clue not to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If
scarcity of ammunition is not your first clue, then I wonder what your second clue is. You know what I mean? I can tell you. There's a few spots when I first started cleaning windows, Jake, that having a concealed carry permit was almost a necessity, because there was a couple of situations that I was in that I was quite worried if I was going to be mugged. You know what I mean? I was like, man, there's a couple of times, man, I felt like I was being cased. Like I'm there the same time every week. You know what I mean? They know everything that I'm doing, but what they didn't know is that there was a 45 in my hip. You know, they didn't know that. You know, I was waiting. In Ohio,
we're allowed open carry. So, and you don't have those special laws a concealed carry person has.
That's
either.
why
you get away almost being dumb with an open carry if you shoot somebody compared to if you have a concealed carry, then you're subjected to all this other stuff. Dang it. So, you know what I mean?
Totally fine. I almost shot a guy at a KFC once.
You reach into your emotions.
Mike said I almost shot a guy at a KFC once.
Is there a story behind this?
Or are we just gonna go?
I just finished. Well, there's different. Every big city has different sides of town, and so I just cleaned the KFC. It was winter time. Had my bibs and had a couple sweaters on or whatever, and this was the one where they would feed me free every time I cleaned.
Oh
the windows,
you used to tell me about that one.
So I had a couple pieces of chicken and my biscuit sitting in the corner, and here comes 2 young people just fighting. This guy's just behind this girl, just no, in her face, barking at her the whole time. And I think she had a black eye. Anyway, and they come in and she gets food. She sits down right beside me. I'm like, I don't want to be involved in this. I got my chicken. I'm done. Got my free chicken.
She sat in the same booth?
Well, like the row of the.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You got the little tables with the space in between. She sits at the one right next to me.
And there's other open spaces, right?
The whole place is empty.
Yeah, and then. Uh-oh.
Man.
Beside me. And so he's telling her she's not. I mean, this is years ago. She's, you're not going to leave me, and you think. And he's just really aggressive and in her face. And he gets up, and he takes her food and throws it, and it splatters on the side of my head. And I stand up, and I'm like, I can't.
Right.
I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah.
Man,
You know what? I'm not going to punch you, but I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you till you catch a fire.
Takes off, and he's throwing those aluminum or stainless chairs, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They're banging across the room, and he takes off and leaves. Well, I go take my sweatshirt off or whatever it was and clean the mashed potatoes out of my hair, and all those old ladies, KFC ladies are, honey, you need to leave him, and all, cleaning up the mess, and And I come back in and I'm getting my stuff. The dude comes running back. He went to some apartments across the street, I guess.
I got to interrupt for a second. So he comes back and you're disrobing. Is that what you're telling us?
I cleaned the mashed potatoes off.
Okay.
That was
there
it.
was potatoes involved. Okay.
Potatoes involved, And so he comes running back. And like I said, it was winter. He had a big bulky coat. And me and the manager are holding the door. And he keeps pulling on the door and keeps reaching in his pockets. And he's like, you're not going to stop me. I'm going to get her. You don't know who I represent. And he keeps reaching in his coat. And so I pull my gun and I had it in my bib and I'm holding the door and I'm watching his hands. And I'm like, did he go get a weapon?
Right.
Because he's wanting to hurt the girlfriend.
Right.
And so we're both holding the door so he can't get in. They've called the cops. Of course, it takes cops 45 minutes to show up to do anything,
right.
to fill out a piece of paper. Anyway, so I'm holding the door, and it seemed like an eternity. And finally, I'm looking center mass, nobody behind him, no cars. As soon as I see a weapon, here we go. And every step, thinking it through. And finally, cop pulls up. Dude takes off, busts out running, and leaves. I put my gun back in my deal there, and I walked to the truck. And the cop said, "Hey, did you call?" I'm like, "No, but I was there. Do I have to stay?" He goes, "No, you can go." And I got to the stoplight, and all of a sudden, I was calm and cool, thinking every step through.
And after the adrenaline crash, you just,
and then just like 30 minutes, I'm like, I just almost shot a dude.
Yeah.
If he would have pulled something out of his pocket, I was going to shoot him.
Right.
And anyway, that was.
It could have been a package of hot sauce, but he's getting lit. He's getting lit up. I actually have a big guy question, but it's a general question overall. How do you, as a big man, how do you size your bibs?
How do I size?
So
the waist is on your belly, not on your waist, but that's just.
I gotta ask, not in weight, but how big are you, Mike? I mean, are you like really?
He's
a big old boy.
He's a big boy. He's a little bit taller than me. Don't what you say, Seth?
I'd say 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
Right at 6.
Okay.
I mean, every time I see you sitting down,
you're 6 foot because you felt taller than that. Because I'm 5'11".
Now
he smells really good, and he's a hugger.
I was gonna say he kept hugging. I was like, damn, man.
He smells good, and he's a hugger. So,
now, how big was the dude that you thought might pull a weapon? Was he?
Oh, he's just a little punk. I mean, he's probably 100 pounds.
But why would you want to sweat?
Right.
Yeah.
And my first impression was to choke him out, but then I'm like, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be a part of.
Yeah, clearly Mark has never gotten an infected knuckle from a meth tooth before. You know what I mean? Clearly. Clearly.
Try to avoid that. Right.
Clearly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I gotta say, it kind of would be fun to dish rag a man like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Especially when it deserves
it's always the little ones that act like that. Always the little ones.
Because they got that Napoleon complex even with their girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've experienced that being around Mark.
Right.
Oh man. But yeah.
Mark is just like that.
The one thing I know is the one that's usually running his mouth and getting all boisterous is not the one you got to watch out for. It's that quiet one at the end of the bar.
Yeah.
That's the one that you don't want to mess with.
One just wanting to sit and eat his chicken and be left alone.
Yep. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised when he threw the potato and they got on you. He just didn't run away from you.
Oh, he took off running. He was running and throwing those chairs as he went out the door.
Yeah.
So I stood up and was contemplating on what to do next. You'd think the steps through. But I had an old lady sniff my neck last week at a McDonald's. The Mick Dump picture. Yeah, right.
Hey, I gotta ask one thing. Did that KFC manager yell out, "Kick his ass, Seabass"?
No, but but the cook was like 7 foot tall. I'm like, dude, why don't you? I'm looking at
come on
him
out here
like,
and give me a hand.
why don't you take care of this thing right here?
Yeah.
Oh, but
Dude.
yeah, there should be a book, short stories from window cleaners.
Yeah, man.
Just crazy experiences.
Well, everyone's seen. Has everyone? I mean,
is one.
I'm
It's called
assuming.
American Window Cleaning Magazine.
Yeah,
We
Tim.
could do-
Shameless plug from Tim there.
There you
Um,
go.
Hey, you know what's great is that you saying window cleaner stories. You guys remember the video of the shorts I did? That guy in those shorts. Do you remember that
Yeah.
video? Oh
Yeah,
my!
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
craziest day ever in the history of ever.
Yeah.
Those are the shortest shorts I've ever seen on a man. Like the short. I mean, I'm surprised there wasn't extracurricular activities hanging out of one of the left or the right leg there. Honestly, it was. They were that short. If you haven't seen the video, just go to my channel, this channel here, and search the shorts, and you'll find it. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Oh, Mark tried to fight you, huh?
Jersey's a sweetheart, man.
Yeah, he's a
I
pretty
love
good
that
guy,
dude.
man.
Him and Alex, yeah. I mean, they're just great
Pretty good
people.
guy.
I met a lot of great people.
So when's the April edition? When's that going to show up in my mailbox?
I read it, dude. I got a sneak peek at it.
Of the April
And the
edition?
Yes, and the article. I saw the whole magazine.
Hey,
on
what
the
you need?
laptop.
Hey, listen. What are you talking about? Just watch what you're saying. Watch your mouth.
I've seen the magazine on on a computer, and the article on Squeegee Life is stellar. It's awesome. Well written.
All right.
That's good, man.
That's great. He was talking. He
I
texted.
love the terms I've learned.
Dudes.
Stellar, hard body karate.
Yeah.
You know it.
You know it. You know it. I'm looking for. I need one of those stickers myself. I gotta have one of those stickers.
The hard body.
Wait, no,
Yeah.
one. I want one.
So I can scan it and have T-shirts made.
I want to put it on the back of the truck. I have him send the PNG to you.
The PNGs.
I'm sure he has one.
He
Yeah.
might. I asked him a long time ago for it, and he never came off of
Jersey,
it.
send him the PNGs, man.
No, there might be a reason why he hasn't done that. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe he's all out, you know?
Maybe he's all
I'm
out.
starting to do I have a fridge here in the shop for adult beverages and water, and, just mostly adult beverages, and
Right.
I'm making it a shrine to any sticker I get window cleaning wise. So
Oh, okay.
if anyone has one, send it, and by the time it fills up, I'll take a picture of it. So
Kind
I'm
of like
working
my
on it.
mirrors.
Yeah, like that, and just every time I get a sticker, I stick it up on there. So. And I have to say, honestly, once a week I wear one of Mike Nichols' work shirts that he gave me to work, and everyone's like, "Oh, what is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's a buddy of mine. It's a good shirt."
I love it.
So Mike, is there a reason that you seem to do the more technical, harder accounts for your company, and your sons are driving around doing the storefronts, or do you not like storefronts and prefer residential?
And I had a hard job for years and always cleaned windows to make money,
Mm-hmm.
and built a month of restaurant, McDonald's, KFC, Taco. It was mostly all restaurants.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we do like Subway stores. We do all of them. Domino's. We do all of them. And the list
Right.
goes on and on. KFC, Taco Bell, and Firehouse, and it goes on. And it was comfortable. I mean, it was every week of the month. It was the same car lots. And it was just easy. You can bust it and get done early and go fishing or whatever. And it was decent money. And I loved it. And I do houses every once in a while, but just bought out. I really didn't want to get in the residential game, but I work well with all the seasoned window cleaning companies here in the area, except for one guy, but none of us like him. But anyway, we all work together, help each other out. And a buddy of mine, we went to the convention, huge convention for the first time together. And he was moving out of state, and you guys kind of helped me through. I bought him out, and he was all residential, but I didn't want to do that. I was like, residential, you're dealing with people's stuff. And
Yeah. houses.
and dogs and
I talked him out of that.
furniture.
I talked him out of that real quick.
Yeah,
I was
so
like, "Don't
got
think
in-
like that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't think like that."
So now I just do a house a day.
Yep.
So I just do a house a day, and,
Yep.
and I'm making 40-something% off everything the boys do, and so it's been nice. But I enjoyed the route.
Right.
I mean, but then COVID hit, restaurants shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
Now what? You know. And
Yeah. Is it back up and going? I mean, all
Yeah.
the restaurants that you named, McDonald's, Firehouse in Florida, they're everywhere, but I've yet to know anyone that's cleaned any of those. I mean, they just don't clean here in Florida.
Arkansas shut down in March and opened right back up in May.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were closed down for 6 weeks.
No shit.
And so, yeah. And even like the subways, several of them wanted us to continue to.
I did my subways all the way through.
Yeah. They wanted them kept clean. So it worked. Here it worked well. That's, like I said, it's hard to imagine other states, people being, still struggling to get those accounts, because here it really didn't do much. I mean, it was a few weeks, but that was about it. But in 08,
Sweet.
the 08, the housing market and all that was horrible. So actually, the house I'm in, I bought to flip, and I've been here ever since. But had the mindset after 08, like, hey, everyone's going to buy $1 Taco Bell taco. They're always going to be open regardless of what the economy does.
Right.
People are going to be buying Subway sandwiches, $1 hamburgers at McDonald's. So build on that. No matter if there's a recession or, you're still going to have a job. Well, who would have expected a virus shut down all the restaurants?
Yeah.
Right.
Never in a million
Yeah.
years. I mean, while I was rolling in all that restaurant money dough, I would have guessed that that would ever happen to me. You know what I mean? And then Mark's always telling me on Vox, like, well, what you need to do is not put all your eggs in one basket. So I'm like,
sound
whatever,
exactly
dude.
like that, too.
And he
Oh my
was
God.
right. You know what I
I
mean?
thought I was talking to myself. Mrs.
Over?
Newsman. Over?
Right.
We're supposed to say over.
Over.
Yeah. But you know what? Here in Florida, we've been pretty much open. Not as much as you, Mike, but being out on the routes and being out on the streets day in and day out, I'm still looking around going, I don't think the dust has settled yet, meaning I'm going to higher end strip malls and there's a lot of vacancies. A lot of small storefronts didn't make it. A lot of restaurants didn't make it. What we were cleaning for the most part is still cleaning, but I'm still 30%. I lost another breakfast restaurant this morning. Actually, 2 of them, they filed bankruptcy, and so they're gone. It's just like every single month you send out the invoices and it's like, here goes the phone. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, yeah, it's going to be some changes. It's going to take a while to recover. And, I think this last year of this issue is probably going to take for us as service providers, because keeping in mind that I do believe the higher market, the market of the building work and stuff that I do primarily it's going to put the squeeze too, because a lot of office buildings, either they realize people can work from home, or we're just going to shut down that office because it's costing us $10,000 a month in rent. So that's going to trickle down to the lawn maintenance, the window cleaner, the pressure cleaner, the valet, the detail guys that work in these buildings. So 2022 is going to be the time to watch that. And I think we're all going to go, I think minimally it's going to take 5 to 7 years to recover back to where we were.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Well,
We're going to have to wait till a
we're gonna have
Republican president gets back in office.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big commercial bubble burst. This is what's going to happen. All the commercial property is going to just plummet because everything's shutting down. Like State Farm is gone from New York, gone. Like they're selling their building. Everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
Discover Cars doing the same thing up in New Albany. Their buildings are just vacant. You know, they're all working from home. Spectrum, they're all working from home. They'll never go back to those buildings. You know.
Yeah, my wife's pissed because she was told either yesterday or today they're going back into the office. She's been home for a year, you know, on her job, and and she's pissed. I'm like, well, it is what it is. You got a year break of it, you know. But
there's you can go to. There's so many people hiring. You just work from your home, you know.
Yep.
Well, not everyone has a job that they'd want to leave. You know what I mean? Just to stay home. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, like I'm sure Miss Tanner's like not wanting to go out and find another job. You know what I mean? She's wanting.
Oh, no.
You know
but my wife's got to be doing something. For her to be as sedentary as she's been in the last year, sitting home, you know, running my business and her other job, because she does like 2 part-time jobs, it is amazing that she's been able to do it. Now they want her to transition back because her company's based out of Virginia, and they found out that once they open up vaccinations for under 40 or 40 and under in our state, they're going to push them back into work. And, you know, of course, vaccines aren't mandatory, but they feel, well, now it's a safer situation for you to come back.
Yeah, they're doing 16 here. I mean, 16 and up and get vaccinated now.
Oh, yeah? No, we're not to that point yet.
Well, I'm not getting a vaccination until President Biden cleans up the border, because I feel like my vaccination's not going to work with all those dirty people locked in cages stacked on top of each other. I mean, when they're over capacity at like 827%, I got to wait for them to at least clean that up before I get vaccinated. I feel like there's no point in me getting vaccinated until they clean that up. You know what I mean?
I'm just going to pay the vaccine lady $100 to give me a certificate.
Dude,
there's some dude. Yo, there was some dude on. There was some dude on TikTok that got kicked off of TikTok for selling fake immunization fucking passports.
Brilliant. Dude,
shit!
I'm not even good with
42 minutes, Mike. I went 42 minutes. But I'm not going to get off. I'm not going to fly off the rails. But that was my first F-bomb in 42 minutes. I was doing so good.
Man, I don't know. I look at the 08 crash that we had, and everyone was a little doom and gloom. And I think that's the best part about America. All these buildings that shut down became microbreweries, restaurants, art galleries. Somebody will always find a niche and make it work.
Right.
And I think we're heading to that again. You know.
Yeah.
Like
we just see it helps with the housing, because the housing's so up. So you can take these office buildings and make apartments or do whatever you want. You can fix some homelessness with these buildings. You could do a lot of shit with these buildings.
There's a lot of people there's a lot of people from New York moving here, like a lot.
Oh yeah.
Michigan,
a lot of New Yorkers here.
You can't get they're selling over 1,500 homes a day in Florida. We get calls all the time. We have cash buyers that are willing to pay over the market value for your house. We're like, we're not for sale.
Yeah.
We're not selling.
You guys are going to be inundated with morons.
Well, look, I don't have a problem with the New Yorkers and Californians and anyone who wants to move here, as long as you move here because it's better and you don't want to make it what it is over there. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
don't come over here and bring your liberal bullshit and try to make our state what you're. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, South Florida's always been like a transplant area.
It is. No, it is.
So that's always kind of been a thing where like you have like a real mix in Southern Florida. You have like the backwoods boys like Mark. You got the New Yorkers running down there. You got like Ohio people on the West Coast over there. It's quite a mix of people.
Yeah.
We had a guy move in from California across the street, and a couple days ago, there was 3 or 4 cars with California tags. So I made sure to walk to the mailbox all week with no shirt and overalls and Crocs on. You guys can't stay.
It's time to go.
They might want to stay now.
It's time to go.
Yeah, you can visit, but you need to go back.
I had a
Well,
lady. I had a
doing it
lady.
downtown.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go
Well,
ahead.
downtown Columbus is just outrageous right now, man. They're literally kicking out the ghetto and pushing it out to the suburbs, right?
Wow.
And so they took a 3-acre property, put 180 condos and apartments in it, and a studio is $280,000.
Yeah.
Like 500 square feet in Columbus, Ohio. Are you kidding me right now? Like the housing market's ridiculous right now.
I had a lady. I had a lady Monday. I think it was Monday or Friday. They all run together. I do the whole inside of her house. I wore my mask the whole time. Then I go outside to do the outside. She come outside. I had no mask on. She asked me to leave.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, well, as long as you pay me what you owe me, I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's like, what'd you get done? I was like, I got 4 more windows to go, but just write me a check and take $20 off of it. She's like, $20? I said, $20, and I'll be out of your hair.
Yeah, that's.
And she's like, well, I'm not writing you a check. Only thing I can do is a credit card over the phone or Venmo or PayPal. I texted her my Venmo, and she paid me, and then I left. I was like, all right, later. So
yeah, there's a lot of that here too. It's either extreme. They either have 2 masks, face shield, goggles, like a hazmat suit.
Yeah.
Or they don't care. You know
I'm not wearing a mask outside. I'm not doing it.
No, I don't wear a mask outside either.
Unfortunately, in the land of liberals, I haven't had that happen once yet.
The COVID guideline. Yeah, the COVID guideline is 3 feet, right? And I don't know about anybody else, but 3 feet is arm's distance. If you're that close to me, we're either fighting or the other F word. We're doing one of the two. And it's been that way my whole life. You know what I mean? It's not a new development. Fornicate. You know what I mean? We're either fighting or fornicating. And, that's just a rule. That's been a rule of mine my entire life. You know what I mean? That's my bubble.
Right.
I got a bubble arm's length. You know what I mean? And I feel like I don't need a guideline. You know what I mean? I just don't like that. You know what I mean?
I've had one house, and it was in December. She wanted me to wear a mask. One house, that was it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'll oblige anybody.
I was elderly.
Right.
So, yeah.
I've got no issues whatsoever with wearing a mask in a store or whatever. They want me to wear a mask, I'll just wear the damn mask. If that makes you feel better, whatever.
I think the most ridiculous thing is... I wear it
over my mouth.
Yeah, I wear it over my mouth.
Yeah, that helps. I think the most ridiculous thing is driving up to a red light and seeing someone in a car with the windows up, masked up, and I'm like, dude, are you really serious?
Listen, I've got no respect for you.
Mark, I sent you a picture of a guy in a convertible with a mask on.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, man. I just don't understand why people wear a mask in a car by themselves. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Or the couple that wears they're sitting in the car together. They both have masks on with the windows. Like, you guys live together.
Yeah.
Just get it over with. You know what I mean? Peel the Band-Aid off. You know what I mean? Just rip it off. You know what I mean? Just, you got to let it go, man.
People are really scared if they're going to die from this shit, man.
Well, I mean, there are people that do. You know what I mean? But the thing is this. I mean, you cannot live your entire life in fear, man. If you live your life in fear, you're going to end up dying because of it.
Yeah, but you got to understand, the media in general.
Yeah.
Like, my mom is 79 years old. Okay, she just got her 2nd shot. Thankfully, she's doing well.
She should have it.
She sits there and watches this. You're right. She's healthy, but she sits there and
she's
watches
elderly. She should have it.
News. She watches local news, and she's deathly afraid because they don't stop. They don't stop.
Yeah, it's nonstop. And that's the one thing I will say. I feel like this whole pandemic, I feel like the people that should have been protected weren't protected. You know what I mean?
Exactly what
and that's the problem. The people like Mark's mom, my Aunt Barb, the elderly were not taken care of. Those were the ones that we should have cared for the most, and we didn't. You know what I mean? We were so focused on people going to bars and going to restaurants, and it was the elderly people that were not taken care of. They were put in nursing. COVID patients were put in nursing homes and stuff like that with elderly people. You know what I mean? Look at what
They're
happened to
going
that
after
kid.
that dude hard, aren't they?
That old
They
dude,
should.
yeah,
They should.
that old dude that
Well, I
got
mean,
the
like-
shit beat out of him in the nursing home by that young kid that had COVID, ended up killing himself later on because the old man got depressed. He ended up commit suicide. You know what I mean? It's just the stuff like that happened while this was going on is the travesty, because we're losing the greatest generation is almost non-existent anymore. Now we're left with green-haired people that draw their eyebrows on. You know what I mean? It's really weird.
I mean,
Or window PhD.
Or
I can't do it, man. I can't.
he's coming on the podcast. We're gonna have the Window Doctor PhD on the podcast in May.
Oh man.
He said, "Well, we asked him in February. He said April.
how's he going to be
he never
on for 2 hours?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think the kids.
Bob
Me and
Cat
Mark.
never
Me,
comes on Bobcats because you
I
can't
find
be
them
on.
interesting.
me and
Right.
Mark. I think the kid's funny. I think the kid's hilarious.
Look, I just want to get inside and see exactly what's going on
I
there.
think the
Is
kid's
this him?
hilarious.
Is this attention getter?
Yeah.
But I'm kind of drawn to it, so we're gonna roll the dice.
I gotta be honest
think
with
he'll
you.
be a good guest.
I'm
I
a little perturbed that he has a T-shirt for sale on windowcleaner.com and I do not, and Steve-O doesn't. Neither does Luke,
That's
and I
right.
feel like that is a
Dude, and
travesty.
your shirts
Are actually
the
cool.
best- are the best shirts, yeah.
And
Hey, come on.
Tim's shirts,
no,
Tim's shirts
Tim.
suck
I think
because
that
they're
outlaw.
Tim's
the
shirt.
blue,
Hey,
white, and blue outlaw shirt is the next level.
listen. All Tim's shirts suck because they're available at windowcleaner.com, so they suck.
Why did he send them to him?
I'm not buying
Different
shit.
size, send it to him.
I'm not buying shit. That's why people go to www.squeegeelife.com and they buy a T-shirt from me directly because I don't care.
But that's an exclusive item
It's called a joke.
Window cleaner. I don't sell that.
It's a joke,
that
not a
design.
dick. Try not to take it so hard,
Yeah.
Tim.
It was painful.
Hey, name brand, you were the guest last week on here, right? Yep, that's him.
But I show my boys the PhD videos and I say, thank you for not being like this. Thank
Oh,
you.
well, I mean, I didn't say I want my son to act like him. I said I think he's funny. I mean, I don't think people realize that what he's doing, he's trolling. He's not,
Right.
he doesn't really think he's the Window Doctor PhD. What he's smart and he realizes that it really gets under people's skin and people cannot stop watching it. So he ran with it. And now
Yeah,
WCR
I
made
saw
a shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I saw the veil come down in one of his videos that he was doing, and then you could hear him talking to a customer
Uh-huh.
while he was shooting the video, and you could hear it completely change.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
So,
Right.
like, you know this kid is messing around.
Yeah.
And he's got the what they call it, the F-boy haircut or whatever it
Right.
is. You know what
We're
I'm
doing
saying?
so good with
Yeah.
the F-bombs right now, dude. Fornicating and everything, bro. We got it. This
proud
fornicating
of
kid
you.
needs to stop doing TikTok videos shaking his butt, though. That really drives me nuts. Like, he's got to stop, man.
It may get some guys riled up though, you know.
If that's your thing, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's fine. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do. I don't care about that. As long as you don't tell me what I got to do, I don't care what you got to do. You do whatever you want to do.
I agree with that.
You do whatever you want to do. I'm cool with it. But I don't like it when you shake your rear end on TikTok. It's just not cool, dude. I don't like it.
Right. You legislate your
amazing.
yard, I do mine.
It's amazing how the style is coming back as the 90s style, which was our style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like a lot of stuff that we wore back in the 90s is coming back.
Oh,
and it's
definitely.
Wild.
Yeah.
My kid thinks he's the coolest thing since sliced bread, and I'm like, dude, let me show you some pictures. Cause shoot, yeah.
Hey, I had a pair of MC Hammer pants. You know.
Yeah. Parachute pants.
Yes.
Then well, he has his ears pierced. So I was like, man, I'll show you pictures with, both my ears used to be pierced, boy. You know? I don't know. That was
Diego, that's right, man. I just ain't feeling it, bro. Like if I seen him in public, I'd be like, yo, hold on to my back pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't like that, man. I don't like it, dude. I don't like that, man. You know what I mean? I mean, that's cool. You do whatever you want to do, but I don't like I don't like that, man. I don't like that. You gotta fix that about you. You know what I mean? Everything else is funny except for them shorty shorts and you shaking your rear end. I'm not down with that at all, bro. You cannot do the shorty shorts around me, man. Jenko pants are making a comeback. Well, whoever's wearing those need punched right in the mouth.
Those Jenko pants was like my era of growing up, like the late 90s.
Did you wear those?
Like that choker chain.
Yes.
No, I didn't wear it.
Oh, thank God.
Smack the crap out of me if
Great,
I wore those.
great. I wore Levi's.
Hey, you're not going out.
Yeah, I wore Levi's and Justins. I wasn't, and believe it or not, because people watch my channel and they listen to the music that I play, and I wore, like you can ask Jennifer, I wore Levi's and Justins. That's what I wore when I was in high school. And everyone else around me was wearing those big stovepipe pants and Vans and stuff. I would go to a Pantera concert, but I would be wearing my Justins and my Levi's. You know what I mean? Because there's something about being original. You know what I mean? There's something about being yourself. And everyone around me was wearing those giant friggin' pants, and I just never could understand it. I don't understand why do you want to wear pants that make you look fatter.
I did go through a phase.
I never wore
like
the baggy
socks. I did do that for a little bit.
Okay. See, I'm not too mad at that. I'm not too mad at that. That's cool a little bit.
501s. 501 years.
501s. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
501s and 504s is what I wear.
Tim's were acid washed, and he had a jacket to match.
Tight roll.
Absolutely.
He had a jacket to match, and there was a Bon Jovi handkerchief pinned to the back, safety pin to the back of it. You are a liar. You are a liar. You're a liar.
No, man,
you're a liar.
But I'll tell you what, man. I listened to so many. What was that band? Firestarter or whatever it was.
Firehouse.
Firehouse. Cinderella, Bon Jovi,
Cinderella,
Poison,
you would.
Winger,
Striper.
Striper. I didn't like stuff. That was my shit. When Nirvana first played, I hated Nirvana.
Not me.
At
first time I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this dude's gonna take over the world."
It. But then it just grew on you. You couldn't do anything about it. You know, that whole Seattle thing just went wow.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, when like everyone was super hype on Nirvana, but man, Soundgarden, man.
Yeah.
Audio Slave.
Chris Cornell, that dude had some pipes.
Dude,
Pipes.
What's his name? Shit.
Pearl Jam. The Pearl Jam. And the Pearl Jam and Soundgarden album, Temple of the Dog. That Hunger Strike, that song where Chris Cornell, he's got pipes. That the best. He's the best singer in rock and roll. The best.
That was right before Pearl Jam came out. I mean,
Van Halen, not Van Hagar.
Van Hagar. I love Van Hagar though.
What did you listen to in your youth?
Cody Jenks.
No, he wasn't even around.
Leader Skeeter.
I listened to rock, classic rock. I listened to some country. But as far as attire goes, you could look at pictures of me from the 70s. This is the way I was dressed. Maybe not squeegee life, but T-shirt and jeans or T-shirt and shorts. That's it.
T-shirt and jorts because
Yeah,
we haven't busted your balls about the jorts in a long time. But Mark used to wear jeans shorts until we started roasting him out here. And then his wife went out and bought him all new shorts.
Dude, I don't really even hate jean shorts. I just thought it was funny that he only wore jean shorts.
I hate jean shorts. I mean, dude, that's whack,
how does
bro.
Tanner do his hair? How does Tanner do his hair?
It's high and tight.
Always in a hat.
High and tight.
It's a high and tight.
Yeah, he's high and tight.
Okay, I didn't know if it was. Were you down the middle in the '80s with the feather?
Yeah, I guess it was longer. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
311 has grassroots. Come on, jump.
Favorite band. All-time favorite band.
All-time favorite band would have to be Skinner. Yeah. I've just been a fan so long.
He's from Florida, dude. What do you expect from the guy, man?
It's so simple.
Yeah. I mean, but I'm diverse. I'll listen to
Tim's favorite band is Bon Jovi. He doesn't like to admit that anymore, but it's the truth.
I do. Because he went liberal on me, and it really, really upset me.
Yeah, he really did get liberal. And you know what? Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam got really liberal, too.
Yeah.
All your heroes will let you down at some point.
Yeah.
When they get rich, they do that, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, you see, Biden's talking about corporate tax going up.
I don't
they're
listen.
gonna
I
get
cannot discuss anything that
6%.
Joe Biden does until he cleans that border up. There are people suffering in cages
Stuck in
right
cages.
now. They're in cages, locked in cages. There's youths and immigrants that are suffering in cages right now, man.
Prediction is Trump's going down in 2 to 3 weeks
Really down.
to do some live stuff down at the border. So that'll be it right before then he's coming out with this new network. I guess Facebook's like scrubbing Trump out of Facebook right
That's
now.
all right. He's coming out with his own platform, and
He's already got a website, but
Yeah.
this is the way I look at it. Social media can do whatever they want, but social media is not real life.
No,
it's
You know what I
not.
mean? And I mean, he may not run in the next election, but I can almost promise you that two youths, I can almost promise you that there's going to be a very conservative person in office.
Oh yeah.
I want to see a Trump DeSantis ticket.
I want to see an Owens. What's that other dude? Cruz. Owens Cruz. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Cruz guy, man.
I'm a huge Cruz guy. Shut up, Tim. Nobody likes
Nope.
you.
I'd like to see Jim Jordan.
Not a
I'd like to
Cruz
see
guy.
Jim Jordan.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be too mad at that.
I like to see that guy who just retired, Trey Gowdy.
Yeah.
Trey, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Trey
Yeah.
Gowdy.
Yeah, he'd be a good one.
I
Vermin
just like
Supreme.
I feel like Candace Owens.
Yeah.
I feel like Candace
Always
Owens
Vermin
is a sure thing. You know what I
think
mean?
she is too.
I feel like
Yeah.
Candace Owens is a sure thing. She's a black
home
lady.
run.
She's a black lady.
I think
She's not Republican. She's just conservative. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's made that clear on several occasions. But how do you? I mean, what do they say to that? What do you say to the first
They call her
actual
white supremacist.
African American female
She's so
president of the United
well
States?
spoken.
Oh
She's
my
too young,
God.
man.
Mark, that is the racist thing I've ever heard any white dude say.
What,
She's so well spoken.
She is.
As compared to what? Like a chimpanzee or
No,
a dog?
as compared to
She's a
most
human
other
being.
people. As compared to most other
She
people.
can talk real good. I like her. She talks
see,
really good.
I want to do a throwback back. I want to see Bill Weld run. I want to see him run on a real.
Bill
real-
Weld. Bill Weld is a Democrat disguised as libertarian.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because it'd be a change of pace. I'd be all
We
right.
already got that. We got like a Democrat or a socialist disguised as a Democrat now.
Oh, you have
So
an old senile man. That's
Yeah.
what you
Listen,
have.
dude, I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a big difference between libertarian and communist. I don't know if you know that or not, Tim.
no.
Liberal and libertarian are not the same thing.
No, I'm saying we have a
Oh.
socialist running as a liberal now.
Oh, okay. I heard you wrong. I thought you said
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else.
yeah.
I was about to say.
Nah.
I can't
I
do
still
that.
have my
I'm
Ron Paul
more
2012
libertarian
sign.
than I am.
Do
I'm
you-
more libertarian than I am conservative.
You're RuPaul 2012? Ron. He's like, no, Ron.
The only thing I couldn't deal with is that guy's cadence for 4 years. The way he talks, I mean, it bothers. And that foo-foo hair he has, I can't mess with that either.
Rand is all right, but Ron is the greatest.
What a Willie for president? Shoot. Gilbert Huber, me and Tim could not coexist in office together. I will not run on the same ticket as a guy that likes Bon Jovi and Van Hagar. We just cannot coexist in that capacity
Van
together.
Hagar.
That's where we can meet in the middle.
No, we could never meet in the middle on that.
Yeah.
What's the middle? Like Jimmy Buffett? Oh, we never got Mike Nichols. Who's your favorite band of all time?
I'm a
Say Bon Jovi.
No, I'm a huge Bob Dylan fan.
Okay.
I've seen him. I've been to 2 concerts, and
I would never label you the Bob Dylan guy. Never.
Yeah.
Really,
Never.
Really?
Never. No.
really.
No. Just because of your political views. You know what I mean? I'm not going to out you here on live television or anything, but you are you have a certain set of views on life, you know what I mean? And they're not bad. I align with them almost completely. There's a few things that, you know, are a little weird, but but you know what I mean? We agree on 99.9% of things. But I would have never, don't strike me as a Bob Dylan guy.
I've been to 2 Bob Dylan concerts, and he don't have it, you know, nowadays. He's still plugging along though. But during the hair band era, everybody was Skid Row, Bon Jovi.
Another guy with
I was
pipes.
like Beatles and Grateful Dead and some Led Zeppelin. I saw Plant and Page in '95 when they did their tour.
I seen him at the Gund Arena. Yeah, the Gund Arena in Cleveland. Rusted Root opened up for him.
Right.
Is that who opened up for him when you seen him?
Man, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was Rusted. They had come out. They come out with that big thing, that Idolvise or whatever it was. It had a crank on it. And they wound it, and it made all these weird. It was the trippiest thing I've ever been to in my life.
It was a full orchestra. I had floor seats.
Oh wow!
In Kansas City, and full orchestra and screens with eagles flying. All I remember.
I don't know if
maybe
it was a different tour we saw then, because Jason Bonham was playing the drums and there was no orchestra. So John Bonham's son was playing the drums. So it was a really good show. It was one of my favorite shows.
Saw Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that'd be dope, man. I seen Korn, Deftones, and Ozzy Retirement Sucks tour. That was probably the best concert I've ever seen in my life, to be quite honest with you. It's a tie between that and Pantera in Akron at the college, where they ripped out the first 4 rows of seats and threw them to the left and the right so they could mosh. That was really... They ripped the theater seats out of the concrete, dude. It was rough.
Pantera would be an ultimate concert anyway.
Oh yeah, they're both. The best part of the band is dead. So the drummer and the guitar player are dead. So yeah.
I've seen Tom Petty, Bob Dylan, Fleetwood Mac.
Jennifer is super.
All these people, but my favorite concert was Ted Nugent, and I don't even own an album. But
I bet he puts on a good show.
It was just him, a drummer, and a bass player in a barbecue joint, and you're 10 foot from the stage, and he was 60 years old and still jumping off speakers, and it was a show.
He come to art. We have the Ohio Bike Week here, and he played Bike Week one year, and that was probably the craziest person I've ever seen on stage. He's a wild dude, man. And that dude can play guitar, man.
Yeah. But it's amazing. He's just not one of the, because he was a generation before me, right? So he's not one of the greats that you always listen to growing up. You know, I mean, some people did, I guess, but he's not like, you don't think he's like an amazing selling guy, but he seems to live rich as shit. You know, got all that property, got that great life. You know what I mean?
Who, Ted Nugent?
I don't know. Maybe he has a ton of money. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a ton of money.
Dude, listen. Ted Nugent shoots deer out of a helicopter. He's got money.
Yeah.
He's got money. He's got plenty of money. He shoots deer out of helicopters.
Kiss is still selling shit. You know,
Kiss one Ted Nugent song out there.
Cat Scratch Fever?
Yeah, that's the only one I know. That's the only one I know.
Fred Bear?
I don't know any others.
You suck, bro.
I just know who he is. You know what I mean? He kind of reminded me of like people who grew up with like Jesse Ventura. Like some people know him as one thing, and then I know him. He's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And Ted Nugent's like the same guy with like a southern draw. You know what I mean? He's kind of the same guy. Comes on a show.
Nobody likes Jesse Ventura anymore because of that Chris Kyle stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He kind of. Yeah. He shouldn't have went there. You know, he could have.
What do you mean? That dude lied.
Yeah.
Jesse Ventura won that lawsuit in court. I mean, come on, dude. You know, you can't lie about people. I whooped Jesse Ventura's rear end, and it was a lie, dude. It was a lie.
Why didn't he just take a settlement? It's a Gold Star widow.
Well, yeah, but he didn't get no money from her. The insurance company paid for that.
Right.
Man,
I like Ventura.
You gotta stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. That's that man's reputation.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That'd be like me saying live on YouTube that you like dating boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but Jesse Ventura was always just like yelling at someone, "Why don't you tell me what the answer is?"
But you know what I'm saying?
He lost a lot of steam when he was doing that. He was doing that show about conspiracies, you know, and plus he comes from wrestling, you know. I mean, so
Hey, wrestling's great. Don't get not
wrestling's not great.
Yeah,
I'm
watch
saying,
your tone.
you know,
Watch your tone
we
when
don't
you're
have to
talking
keep
about
all these guys
wrestling,
in
Mark.
real high regard.
right now.
Yeah. Hey, Tim, are you watching Dark Side of the Ring?
No, the new one's out.
If you ain't the new ones, the season 3's out, man.
Oh, I gotta see it then. Yeah, I didn't see. I've had the cable hooked up instead of the smart TV for last week.
I might be your vice president now. Now that I think we can identify with the wrestling thing. The wrestling, not wrestling.
Oh, I love wrestling. Yeah. Love it. I still sit. I mean, I watch old shoot interviews.
See, that's me too.
I love
that's
that
me
shit.
too. I'm not a big fan of what it is now, but I'm a fan of the nostalgia. You know, the old guys, the shoot videos, the shoot interviews. Man, that's so good, man.
I'm into Hillbilly Jim's, old Hillbilly Jim's. Like he's nowadays, like talking about all that stuff. He'll talk. Those are some good interviews. I guess
saw Jim Duggan.
I don't. He's okay.
2x4.
Mike Nichols is a longtime listener and friend of the podcast. For those that didn't know.
Yeah. But
Mike Nichols has been around a long time. Commenters.
Wrestling sucks right now. I don't know if you know that or not. Mm-hmm. It's just really
I don't watch
bad. It's bad. And it's AEW's trying to do the right thing. So I mean, we're gonna get another war, like a Monday Night War thing going on, because that's what they're setting up with. But WWE is just bad. Just really bad. It's bad programming, bad wrestling.
Name brand that kid. Austin Grubbs is so young, it's cute. He said Stone Cold versus The Rock was OG. No, dude. No. Steamboat versus Steamboat versus Savage is the greatest match in history, and you weren't even that is the dude. It's not even an argument, man.
Hogan, King Kong Bundy.
Listen,
man, those are some epic matches. You watched
that Northerner wrestling. I watched that Southern wrestling. My great grandparents used to send videotapes up here so they could watch wrestling.
Wrestling? Mm-hmm. My two favorite of all time was Cactus Jack and Vader. Those are my two favorite wrestlers of all time. Vader always popping basketballs.
Ric Flair and Randy Savage here, man.
But yeah, but hey, I don't know. Listen, you listen to all these shoot interviews. Vader wasn't a good. Vader potatoed everybody. Like that when he was wrestling, he actually hit people. Like he was a really, really, really savage wrestler.
Aggressive dude.
Right. So
this
when
guy
that shit looks real.
95. I
real.
was a freshman in high school. What a scrub.
Like Bret Hart and all them, they didn't want to wrestle Vader. Shawn Michaels, he hated wrestling Vader, and he actually got Vader kicked out because Vader would always potato.
Hey, Mark, where'd you get that super
sweet
ass T-shirt at?
Yeah, Mark.
SqueegeeLife.com. Go check it out.
ECW.
That's right. ECW.
Mike, did you ever watch any wrestling?
I left about NWO days.
Okay.
Four Horsemen.
Me too.
Sting. You know, Ric Flair is still
Remember for
legend.
a short time there was that show called Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling?
Yes.
And they used to bring out a couple heifers.
Hey, my favorite was always Rey Mysterio Jr. He was always my favorite.
Yes.
Man, that dude could wrestle, man.
Mm-hmm.
I loved all the character guys. Like Val Venus was like super annoying, and he just came out and was like in that bathrobe all the time. And then it
wasn't a bathrobe. It was a towel. It was a towel. That white bath towel. Yeah.
Yeah. I always enjoyed the guys that weren't.
You would. That makes sense that you like Val Venus.
Super funny.
Tutti Frutti over here.
Yeah. Nice hair.
Oh, Tutti Frutti over here.
Yeah. I went as Val Venus for Halloween in 2007 or 8.
It's the only reason. That's his favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
So, Mike, where do you Where do you see your window cleaning company in 5 years? Where you want to be at? What are you trying? What's the end goal here? You trying to quit working and have the boys do everything? Be a slave driver?
Yep.
Sounds
I'm
good.
trying to be in the boat. I want to be in the boat and
Wanna
be the
buy
boss.
me
I'm possibly buying another van this summer, hopefully, if things keep progressing the way they do, and split them and eventually get them both a helper. And I got 3 more. Well, I got a 16-year-old. He likes cleaning. He's slow, but he's just meticulous, and he likes making money.
Well,
actually,
That's the guy.
my
he's
old
got a
adage
couple-
is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So
there you go. But he's actually makes some money cleaning some dog poop. I thought about going that route.
Ooh.
We've got. He
A
likes
little
it.
Josh the window cleaner action.
Yeah.
there's nothing
Yeah.
that irritates Mark more than picking up dogs.
There is no amount of money you could pay me to pick up stool. Not happening.
Imagine Mark just gagging constantly. Like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I would. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a 12 and 15-year-old, and they're like, I got to work this summer. I need to clean windows and make some money. So I don't know. They all might, slowly grow as they see what they want to do. If they want a piece of the business, then it's we kind of got a unique deal, family owned and operated.
Right.
Yeah, that's rare though, Mike.
People
That's
love that.
rare. I mean,
Yeah,
I worked for my dad, and the issue was that we just didn't think alike. The end of the day, we were both cleaning windows, but he came up from a generation where window cleaning was one guy, one bucket, and you go out and charge almost nothing and put the money in the mattress and go home. So it's evolved into a business. But that's the way his generation cleaned windows. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted more out of it. More doesn't mean better, but we just thought differently. And eventually it came to a point where I was just like, look, I'm going to do my own thing. And I'd appreciate you help me, steer me in the direction. But we just think too differently. But I think it's brilliant that you are bringing your children into this. I'm kind of jealous of that. I think that's awesome.
I mean, we've got a financial lady. We got a lady that takes care of our billing and sales tax, and she's great. She keeps everything. She'll send me a list like, hey, these people still owe money, and she'll track them down, and I'll make some calls and get some checks. But so I really need to, and I hate it, get a better. I'm looking at a planner. I've got a planner, and I've got all my notes and all that. I still use a planner and keep detailed notes on everything, and able to look back the next year and or last year, next month.
That was actually some of the advice I was given by one of the guys I do his business and his home. I do his business once a month and his home once a month, outside only. And he owns a small business here in town for years, and that was one of the things that he told me. He's like, you need to get a ledger, like a journal, and he goes and write everything that you do in it. Do everything. I don't care. I met Mike for lunch and at so and so time. He goes, and then once you go, you know what I mean, to your that counts. Then that receipt matters. Then you know what I mean. That's all. You know what I mean.
Right.
Keeping track of all that stuff. It's really smart.
Right. And I make notes on certain houses, like, hey, water fed exterior. You need, bring the 30-foot ladder for the west side, whatever. Just notes like that.
You know what we do, Mike, and everybody. I'll see if you can see this, but I keep notes. Everybody keeps throwing notes, but we just use the Google Calendar. Okay, so I'll put stuff on the calendar for next month that the guys might not necessarily know, like a building or a pressure washing job. They put stuff on the calendar currently as they do it. So I can, like, I've got a college that goes twice a month, and it's rotational, depending on the weather, depending on time of year, depending on COVID. And so I can look back, I got a call from one of the colleges and said, hey, we've had automatic doors put into the lunch, the lunch hall, and they still have the install stickers on them. And I'm like, well, we're traditionally the contractor takes care of that, cut all the concrete out, but we'll take care of it. And I look bad because they have been looking at these stickers on the moving doors for over a month, So I look back on the calendar, I could see exactly who was there, when, because everybody got a different color.
Right.
Who was there, when they were there. And that for me is easy because everybody always has their phone. So if I add something, it automatically shows up on their phones.
Right.
Simple, right? Simple, but it's a way to share notes. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I just need to get a gooder system in place. But
gooder. You know what the problem I have, Mike, is it's like October, I'll start to think
more gooder.
Yeah, November, I'm thinking about it, and December, by the end of the year, I go into one of the Office Max, Office Depot, whatever, and spend like $75 and buy the next year's calendar. And when I open it, November of the following year, I'm like done buying these things. You know what I'm saying? So we just started using the phone, and gradually over time it caught on, and everybody's got a copy. So it's not a bad thing. I don't need fancy software to share that.
That's where I'm at. It's hard enough to learn how to use Skype to do a podcast, let alone software.
Right.
Well, that's why you got sons who can end up doing that for you.
His laptop, I've got all his stuff. So
yeah,
he downloaded it and did everything. So, but they have a calendar. They've got their own planner. That's all the commercial and route work, and I've got one that's residential and they've learned cram everything you can on the front of the month and the front of the week, for bad weather.
Yeah.
And if you get everything done, you can have Friday off.
There you go.
That's
and if they're on
goal.
salary, that works out real well. Mike, do you guys offer other services than just window cleaning?
I started doing soft wash when everything shut down, and I battle because you've already got the residential.
Right.
You're already there. So I always.
There's a giant out in the yard killing all the plants.
Yeah. I haven't had that issue yet, but
yeah. Well, good. That's good.
I do soft wash. I've done a little bit of surface cleaning. I don't want to. I'm trying to partner with, and that's the hard part. Find a good company that will answer their phone, will show up, and that kind of thing.
Do their part of the job and not try to steal yours.
Well, they usually start out pretty good, and then you gotta find someone. Like I have one pressure washing guy and he's a single entity, but he's got a hell of a rig, and I'm like, dude, you always treat my customers the way I do. He has nothing to do with window cleaning, so there's no fear that it could overlap. I'm like, just let me know when you're done, and I'll go take care of the glass.
Right.
And he wears my shirt. He represents me. He's got magnetic signs on his truck, so he takes them off. It's never an issue because, I've told the story before.
Is his name Henry Dreest?
No. He's too far away. I would like to work with Henry, but he's too far away. But I partnered up with a guy with a similar situation, and we were doing windows and pressure cleaning on a 3-story office building. And I was like, hey, dude, just bring your trailer. This is what I'm getting for the pressure washing. I'll give you 100% of that. I just want the glass. I'll follow behind you.
Right.
We worked well on a couple jobs together, make some good money, and the next thing I know, I'm scrolling through his website, and there it is. Pictures of my job on his website. And I go, dude, I lost that account last year when I called him to schedule. He said, we went another direction and it saved a few bucks, but we'll keep you in mind. And he goes, oh, that was when we were working together. I go, no, it wasn't, because where we parked was not where those pictures were taken. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, so you went in after me and you stole the job. At that point, I was just done with it, and you let your guard down trying to help someone, and it helped me too.
Hey, listen, I don't do that. I've had a couple of people around here. There's the one dude I do work with who's a really square dude, or I wouldn't even mess with him. But anyone else, like I had a dude call me yesterday. He's like, I've been doing windows since 85 or like something like that. I don't know. He made up some number. And I'm like, all right, sweet. And he's like, I got all these customers. He goes, I'm just getting to the point where I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, I was thinking about, kicking my window cleaning work over to you, and then you like refer your customers to me for spider spraying. And I was like, yeah. That's not happening. I'm not doing that.
Not for you guys.
I'm not doing that. Nope.
No. You just
I'm
want
not
your
doing that.
customers.
Right. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get those on your own. You want to give me your old customers? That's great, but I'm not referring you to nobody. Nobody. You want to know why? Because I don't know if you're going to answer your phone. I don't know if you're a thief. I don't care if you've been cleaning windows since 1972. I don't care. I'm not telling you nothing. You want to know why? Because I don't want nobody doing my work. That's why. Because I feel like when I see somebody, if I'm driving through town and I see somebody else cleaning windows, I want to get out and beat their ass. That's the way I feel. You know what I mean? Like, why are you cleaning windows around here? You know what I mean? Get out of here, you know? But that's my mentality, you know what I mean? That's just, I'm not, maybe if I meet the guy and he's a nice guy, I'll be nice to him, you know what I mean? But my immediate impression is like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? That's just, you know what I mean? That's just me. You know what I mean? That's, I want to do all the windows. Of course you can. You know what I mean? But I think that's not a bad attitude to have. I mean,
you know what, T? Over time, you learn to play nice in the sandbox.
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying I go and try to steal work from them.
I mean,
but that's what I think when I see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't try to tell me that you're not critical of people when you see them working. You can get on this podcast and play Papa Mark all you want, but me and Seth know who you really are.
No.
Yeah.
I there's about 4 or 5 local companies that are of decent size around me that at any point in time know that they can call me. I got one, I don't know, 10 days ago. Hey, can you do this job? I know you're in the area. Mm-hmm. Just wash it, leave a ticket in the door. I'll catch up with you later. I take care of it for them, and vice versa. And it should be that way if you have some respect. The first time they take from you, then
I did a
a
competing window cleaners work for him for like 6 months because he had shoulder surgery. He called me up and he asked me if he would do it. I was like, sure, man. I did not try to take any of his accounts. I just did his work for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just keep the money. He goes, and I'll give you a call, and when I'm back to doing windows again, I'll give you a call and we'll just switch out. I was like, no problem, man. I got no problem with that.
I ended up with an entire business. Well, it wasn't really a business. It was a route. Okay, in my area. An older guy. He was probably in his late 70s at the time, and he had to go in for heart surgery. And he used to just wave and say hello. He'd always stop by. He'd been cleaning windows for longer than I was alive at the time. I
got one of those in my area.
Yeah, and he came to me one time, and he's like, hey, I got to get open heart surgery. If I gave you a list of work, would you cover it for me? My kid who doesn't want to wash windows will do all the collections and everything. We'll do, I think we did an 80-20 or 70-30 split, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can probably do it for 5-6 months, and knowing that this guy wasn't going to recover real quick at his age. And when he was ready to come back to work, he was done with it. He's like, you know what? I owe you this much because they didn't pay me every month, but he's like, I owe you this much. Take it as a down payment. Give me this much a month for 3 years. I'll walk away. Mm-hmm. And I took, I mean, how better to fall into a business? You know what I'm saying? And people they really liked him.
Oh yeah.
They're like, what happened to Teddy? And I'm like, oh, my Uncle Ted. He's doing better. He's just got to take it easy. Oh, he's your uncle? Yeah, he's my uncle. Oh, okay, great. Boom, done.
Lying customers, Mark. Yeah. Liar.
I lie all the time. It's a guy thing.
Yeah.
I got an old dude that here in town, older guy's been doing it for a long time. He cleaned brass squeegee, all fixed handled stuff. he cleans his windows with a wooden pole, like an old wooden broom handle. And the dude's smooth as silk, man. He is so I mean, he's old, but he is straight pulling, smooth as silk. Just dirty, nasty, filthy good at cleaning windows. And he'd come up behind me, and he was watching me, and I didn't notice at first that it was him. I seen him there across the street. And I didn't notice him behind me, and I had my headphones in, and I'm, doing my thing. You guys know my 0 degree thing on the bank across the street. And he walks up to me and he taps me on the shoulder after I close out, and he taps me on the shoulder. He asking me, what's that thing on your hip? At the time it was, the tip jar. He's like, what is that? And I'm like, I showed him, and I ended up giving him one of the ones that I had. He's a nice old dude, you know what I mean? It's good to hang out with. I liked old heads because like I said, watching him clean windows, that dude was smooth as he's so smooth at cleaning windows, so smooth.
Yeah.
He's like, I'd have never thought to do it like that. He goes, but man, you're doing a good job. And I was like, and that's all I need to hear. I was like, because you are like Babe Ruth over there in the windows, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You are killing it, dude.
Those old guys,
yeah.
I wish I had some experiences like that.
Yeah.
Nobody really. I'm close with like 2 out of like the 8 or 9 guys that are around here. It's mostly residential around here. It's just where we live.
Right.
But, yeah, it was weird at first. Like a couple companies, like every time they saw me, they flipped me off and like, go see what you're doing. And I'm like, all right, like whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. I had one guy sit in the parking lot,
and they were super cool. Cool.
Yeah, I had one guy that owns a pretty decent sized company. He's got a bunch of crews and a bunch of vans running around town, and they sit in the parking lot and watch me clean windows. Instead of cleaning windows, they sit in the parking lot try to intimidate me. I walk right up to the truck. I'm like, are you guys taking pictures or video? I was like, I told them what my YouTube channel was if they needed tips. You know what I mean? And then the dude called me. He called me. The owner of the company called me. He's like, I heard that you. He's like, I heard you walked up to one of my vans. I was like, yeah. And he's like, why'd you do that for? And I was like, well, because it didn't make sense to me why they would sit in the parking lot and watch me clean an entire shopping center except for the storefront that he does. I said I had to be there over an hour, and they didn't do nothing. They just sat in their van. He's like, oh. I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? Why don't you focus on why is your employee watching me clean windows? You know what I mean? Come on, bro.
I mean, focus on why you calling me.
yeah, why are you calling me, bro? I'm just a one-man band. I suck. You know what I mean? I do little tiny houses and 3-window Wendy's. You know what I mean? I'm a scrub.
I don't answer my phone. Everything goes to voicemail. Yeah. Leah tells me the messages later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to get hold of me, text me. Other than that, I'm not going to respond for a very long time.
Oh, that's cool, Tim. Tim Willis said his dad is that old guy. That's cool, man. Yeah, man. It's kind of sad in a way that is going away from us. We're gonna be missing that. We're gonna be. I feel like we're gonna be
We're gonna be those guys.
Maybe, hopefully. I'm worried about the generation after us. I mean, they're gonna be a rudderless ship. You know, they're gonna be adrift at sea, man. We gotta get our kids ready. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna be bad, dude. If we don't do something, it's gonna be bad, dude.
I think they're just walking into a different world.
I'm talking like Mad Max. Nah, bro.
No, you don't think so?
No. I know you're Captain Progressive and everything, and you like really. Daisies and butterflies and all that stuff. I know how you think, but
I ain't worried about it.
But what I'm saying is I think we're in big trouble, man. We're in big trouble as a country, as a race, as a human race. We are in trouble, man, because people are so easily offended. It's terrible, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, we're at a breaking point. Breaking. Both.
We're on the brink of a breaking point.
There you go.
The eve of destruction.
AR-12.
AR-12. You ain't got enough.
Company.
You ain't got enough ass to shoot an AR-12 and empty a 30-round clip. Not in one go. You don't.
I'll bet you I did. I used to shoot M16s. Ain't nothing, man.
Tim, like I used to shoot at M16s. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, M16 9mm Beretta. They let us shoot. They let us shoot the M60 off. We got 100 rounds in basic training. Each soldier got. Each one of us got 100 rounds. So, Mark, did you go
get what I think you went and got? Mark, did you go get what I think you went and got?
Yeah, because we talked about that earlier.
All right, so we're going to hold off for a second. Mark's going to be the only one on the screen. Somebody asked Mark a question, and Mark's going to demonstrate here on the podcast for us. So I'm going to give you guys just a big screen of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So this is the new Storbo aluminum channel. It's not a wide body.
Mm-hmm.
thanks to Jersey for the great service that's always sent me this. So there was always a question about putting a bow in your squeegee channel. So if you look down a squeegee down the rail,
there.
If you look down that rail, it's probably going to be, this is brand new, it's never been used yet. It's going to be relatively straight. The issue that you're going to have with aluminum or brass is it's soft. And when you get a squeegee bigger than 18 to 22 inches long, a lot of times if you put good pressure on the glass, the ends actually start to lift. Okay, and that will also cause it to ride up on the window gaskets, and you'll end up with more detailing. So what we've always liked to do, you take the channel and hold it from the ends. Usually you take the handle off for this. I'll leave it on, but just massage the ends a little bit, like this. Bend it about, 8. It's going to have a memory, and then if you look down it, now tell me when I'm lined up.
Right.
You'll see it's got a light bow to it.
Well, you got to turn it there, turn it, and then now tilt the part towards you. There you go. Now people can see.
Okay, so now if you're looking down it might be an 1/8 inch out, meaning these are closer than the middle. This way, when you put it on a pole and apply pressure, it's going to flatten out, and you're going to find a lot less detailing. That's
there you go.
What an old guy taught me, and it's always worked really well.
Thank you, Mark. Somebody reached out to Mark and wanted to know how to do that, so there you go. I hope you like that. I hope it worked out for you good.
Yeah.
Young bull's gonna come in hot. Okay, I hear you play. Grandpa used to lift girls' skirts walking by with his wooden pole while pulling the windows. That's nice.
I once had 6 or 7 Burger Kings, and I subcontracted the south ones down to a second generation window cleaner that my dad knew his dad type thing. And there was an inspection at one of the Burger Kings that was one of his to clean, and I called him, left him 2 messages saying it had to be done on a different day for the inspection. He didn't call me back, so I drove down. It was like a 30-40 mile ride, and I get down there and I'm finished the inside and I'm starting on the outside, and this old hatchback car pulls up, and this guy gets out and he opens the trunk. I saw something about him made me say that's a window cleaner, just because the way he was going to the back of the trunk and strapping
a hatchback.
And
of course, it's a window
hatchback.
cleaner.
Yeah, and it was like 6:30 in the morning, and I see the trunk open up, and then I notice right away he takes a broom handle to hold the lift gate up because the shocks were blowed out, right? And then he grabs another wooden pole and he grabs his bucket and starts walking. I'm like, hey, are you so and so's dad? And he's like, yeah. I go, I already did the inside cuss. Your son never called me, and this has to be done. And he goes just like this. You young whippersnappers don't know anything about this business. And I'm like, I'm driving a brand new truck with a nice aluminum pole, and you got a broom handle that you picked up behind the Walmart. Another broom handle. I thought we were going to fight.
Yeah.
and I go, listen, we're not here to debate. This has got to get done. I got customers coming. I know your son was busy. Didn't call me back. I go, I don't need to lecture. I'm a second generation. Oh, who's your dad? I tell him. He's like, oh, okay, I know. Say hi, this and that. And this guy was ornery. Those old school window cleaners, they didn't like, if you had a pivot handle squeegee, God, my dad would have a heart attack if he knew there were carbon fiber trad poles. He would be like, oh, no.
Right.
Yeah. He used to take the pocket knife out and whittle the broom handle and keep shaving it down because it would wear, and then the squeegees would rock back and forth.
Right.
That's the way I came into this industry. Right. So certain aspects of it you really miss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Mike, Mike, how did you enter the business?
Back in I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
My best buddy, we ran around. His dad retired, and then he started a window cleaning business. My buddy was too good for it. He didn't like it, and I was making $4 an hour washing dishes at Pizza Hut. 14 years old, and work with him. One day he'd pay me $65 cash, and we'd eat free somewhere, and I counted up. He's making like $700, that a day. We were doing hotels and restaurants, and he had a residential business, had electrosonic blind cleaning business back in the day, and I was like, man, this is awesome. He's making money.
Right.
And ended up he gave me a monsoon Unger, and an 18-inch brass Unger, fixed, and an aluminum pole, 5-gallon bucket, lemon joy, and ammonia. That was it.
Right.
That's the ticket.
It's the ticket.
Bar mop towels. I didn't know there was a bucket on a belt until like the year 2000. I didn't know there was such. I'm carrying a 5-gallon bucket, towels, and carrying all my tools. But I'd always clean windows. Always made money, and just always did it on the side. And it started, just kept growing. I grew up in Bentonville, Walmartville. And that's where it all started. Actually, that business is like 3 or 4 different businesses now. It branched
separated.
out. Yeah, it's separated, and I come down here and just been cleaning windows, and it just grew into
Mr. Austin.
Out
Go ahead.
Time.
Mr. Awesome Guy wants to know: doesn't ammonia ruin tint?
No. We've been If you're gonna put it on there, and we use that strong.
I mean, if you're gonna put, if you're gonna
10% hydroxide.
Yeah, if you're gonna put ammonia in your water and then clean windows and then just go inside the restaurant and get the windows wet and leave and never come back, it might do something to the windows. But you're just getting the windows wet and getting it off. That's what you're doing. It's not gonna be on there for hours.
Another thing for at least where I am. And Florida has a lot of tinted windows because of the sun. I can tell you this: 99% of the time, I rarely see a plastic tint anymore. They're either smoked from the factory, coated from the factory, or people just don't tint anymore because they've ruined that all by putting tape and stickers and suction cups and everything else on.
Yeah.
So no, you're not. Again, if you don't let it sit on there, but. Dude, I gotta tell you, the other day,
there's nothing in the world that takes a greasy fingerprint off a window like some ammonia, and nothing. There's the best part of waking up is a little ammonia in your cup. You know what I mean? There's nothing better than that. Hot water,
enough ammonia when you gag.
Woo!
7-gallon jugs of ammonia in the back. Just burning your eyes as you're going down the highway.
Well, Mike, I told a story way back on the podcast. I used to clean this place my father cleaned it originally. We used to clean a place that designed equipment, and they made blueprints there. They made their own blueprints for their equipment. Now, back in the day, if you ever seen a real blueprint, it's physically a blueprinted. It looks like it was drawn with a crayon, but it's blue. Okay, well, I don't know exactly how they make them, but there was a machine, and they would put 26% ammonia in a gallon jug. They would unscrew the cap, and then the machine had a cap that screwed on there with 2 hoses on it, right? And what it would do is it would pull the fumes out of the ammonia, and that was an integral part of the process of making blueprints. So every 4 months, we'd go clean this place. It was called Spraymation, and they would have 6 to 8 gallons sitting there for us, because then they didn't have to pay for disposal. You understand? And they'd be, here you go. And there would only be like this much missing from the jug, but most of the fumes were gone. Dude, that stuff would find every cut in your hand. But you put like a capful, and it was like, okay, stand back. But I'll tell you, I wish I could find that stuff. You can't even find it anymore.
The strongest you can get is at Ace Hardware now. That's the strongest you can find.
Yeah. Ace Hardware.
That's what I got. Once you guys turned me on to that, it made my life.
Once you go Ace Hardware ammonia, you never go back.
Dude, last week, or the week before last, I was working. I finished my gallon of ammonia, and I always buy a case at a time. And I'm like, all right, I can go to the shop and get another gallon, because I was not wanting to work without it. Like, you ever get that in your head?
Yes.
You're like, I could scrub harder. No, I need my ammonia.
I gotta have it.
Right? And I'm like, okay. So I'm on my phone. what's closer, Ace Hardware or my house where my shop is? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to Ace Hardware.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you right now, there's nothing in the world that will make a squeegee glide better than some ammonia, man.
Oh yeah.
There's
Ace
nothing.
Hardware.
Yeah.
Smooth as butter.
Smooth,
baby.
it's butter.
Yeah,
There's
and
not
like I
one
said-
soap product, glide product on the market that will make your squeegee slide like ammonia. There's nothing out there. Nothing out there. There's nothing
Mr.
out
Awesome
there.
Guy, till you gag.
Till you get. Till you
Whatever
get.
you're doing, if you start gagging, that's enough ammonia.
I
man. You
usually,
don't need
I
anymore.
would say, normally for
You
me.
use that in houses?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't worry about how do you get rid of the odor?
Zane Amerson
goes
said
away.
Big
It's
Squeegee
the
is
it
bad
did.
at
It
fishing.
goes away. Yeah.
Most people don't even notice it. I mean, I'm kind of kidding about gagging, but it's like
Yeah.
if I have a 5-gallon bucket that I fill up, I probably put about 5 to 6 ounces in there,
Yeah.
maybe 7 if I'm really.
I was
dealing
gonna
with
say I
something.
usually put like 3/4 of a cup in 2 gallons of water. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot.
But
Me and Mark.
if you're doing restaurants, you kind of need to.
Me and Mark, when Mark was here, we were cleaning windows together. I'm standing in the kitchen, filling the hot bucket of water up, and I pour ammonia in there, and I was like, "You think that's enough?" He's like, "Nah, that's not enough." And then I poured it in there, and he's like, he goes, "Yeah, that's enough."
I got it running through my veins.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the two things I never get about window cleaning, at least in the pro window cleaning group, is no everyone says ammonia ruins tint, nobody wants to use it, and why everyone's afraid of a razor blade.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I don't
I
understand. Well, I want to take this off, but I use a razor blade. Well, is there anything else? Yeah, you can screw around for 2 hours
Yeah.
with goofballs
Yeah.
and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can just be a man, grab a razor,
And just
scrape it
razor
off.
the window.
Right.
I mean, there is a time and a place for like bronze wool pads and stuff like that. If they're just extra like scaly dirty, you know, that's a great use for that. But if they're funky windows, there's nothing that's going to work like a razor blade. They're just not. There's a reason why they make razor blades for window cleaning. There's a reason for
Why
that.
it's been around for as long.
I've
as
never
it's been
used TSP on a window before in my life. I know a lot of people that do.
I
But
tried it.
I tried.
First of all,
I've
let's
never
get some-
tried it.
What's
Trisodium,
TSP?
trisodium,
Phosphate.
trisodium phosphate
Mhm.
is the stuff that you buy now is not real TSP because TSP pollutes groundwater. Okay, so now they have something called it's an artificial TSP.
Yeah.
It doesn't dissolve in the water, and if you get it to dissolve, you put it with hot water, it'll dissolve, and it's an excellent degreaser. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but it's the kind of thing that if you don't detail a vinyl decal on a storefront or leave a hairline, okay, even a squeegee life towel has trouble getting it off because it's a white chalky line and it is a mess. So I just prefer the ammonia, you know, old school TSP.
Old school.
Yeah.
Old school.
If
Yeah.
Ace Hardware had groceries, I wouldn't have to go
Right.
any of
Oh,
the
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
It's
those
like
are
me,
vanishing
like,
around here where I live. There's only one now that you know. It's luckily it's close to me, but they're disappearing around here, man.
What is?
Ace Hardware's. Yeah.
I got 3 in town. It's nice. They're all scattered
they're-
throughout like parts where I work.
We got a nice new one down by the mall.
Really, that's awesome. I mean, the two that are within driving distance of me are mom and pop shops. You know, they're locally owned
Right.
Ace
Dude,
Hardware's.
I gotta tell you something, T.
I like those.
Exactly. If I ever wanted to own a retail store,
Mhm.
it would be an old school mom and pop hardware.
Yeah.
We have a place over here called Hall Hardware. It's been there for 75 years. There's still shit on the shelves from 75 years ago, but it's the coolest shit you could find.
Some
You know
flathead
what I'm saying?
screws.
Oh, yeah.
Flathead
Yeah.
wood screws.
Flathead screws. Yeah.
Yeah. God, I love.
Do they
old
even
hardware
sell
stores.
those anymore? Flathead screws? Do you know?
If you go to those like mom and pop Ace Hardwares, you can find whatever you
What
want.
do you need a
I live
flathead
12
screw
houses
for, you know
down
what I mean?
from an Ace Hardware. It's the
Dude.
best thing ever.
I know. Ace Hardware. It's $26 to fix a storm because we're breaking up on them up there a while. So, you know,
That's
they're
why
I know.
really good on prices for some storm.
They are a
windows,
really
man.
good store because you're not going to get better service than that at a hardware store. You're just
There's
not.
always 2 old guys hanging out that don't work there, but they'll help you
Right.
find whatever you need. Like, you know what I mean? There's a Daryl. And
Yeah,
like
I mean, you can't go to a store and buy any wood now. It's like $78 for a sheet of plywood.
Oh,
It's crazy. Why is that?
It's supply and demand right now.
I don't know, man. I wish I could tell you what that
they're
is.
Throwing up so many houses around here. It's not even funny.
I'm not really sure why that is the way it is right now, but it has gotten outlandish. Like 7/16 OSB right now in Sandusky is $37 a sheet. $37
wood
a
chip
sheet.
stuff. That's that wood chip stuff.
Oriented
right? That's
strand board.
Really good, right?
No, it's oriented strand board. It's structural wood. That's what they use to like sheet like roofs and stuff. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like roof sheathing.
Yeah. So.
Hey, $10 officially doesn't get me 100 miles in that new truck. So gas is just going crazy.
Dude, I don't even want to talk about gas.
I filled my truck the other day from a quarter tank. It was $87.
I don't even want to talk about gas. I don't even want to talk about it. It's
shortage.
It is so depressing. What's that, Mike?
So bad.
There's been a gas shortage in Arkansas and Fort Smith. The reserves have been running. They've been shipping gas to Arkansas from Oklahoma and Texas as fast as they can. Yeah, there's been several gas stations, just empty pumps.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a question for you, Mike. How do you handle with taxes and stuff, with being right on the line, working in Arkansas?
I pay Oklahoma and Arkansas state tax.
Oh,
wow.
Kind of have to.
Yeah. I find a CPA who's not afraid of prison.
Yeah.
He wants to walk that line.
Right.
Clean, 20% dirty. The best right there. Yeah.
No, he said, my CPA actually, first time he said, Scripture says give Caesar's what is Caesar's, but we're not going to give him a penny more.
Right. Right.
You're my guy.
Right.
Yep. You're my guy.
Hey man,
So,
that's truth, man. That's literally gospel. So I mean, you know what I mean. What
hey,
can you
I
say
got a
to
question for you. Outside the realm of window cleaning, Mike, what's the biggest catfish you've ever caught?
Biggest catfish is 37 pounds, and I'm trying to break it.
Wow,
that's a monster. It's like a channel cat.
That's a blue.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. You eat these catfish?
Not what we keep anything over 12 pounds. I usually throw back.
Yeah, they're not good eating at that big, right?
No.
Yeah.
How many jigs do you put out a day?
He ain't fishing. He's jugging.
We run 30 jugs going Friday morning.
I'll say he's not fishing. That's jugging. That's lazy. That's lazy fishing.
So what do you do? How long you let them sit?
We sit with them.
Yeah.
We fish, too.
Didn't you?
No,
you don't remember the 100th episode? He won that pole on a boat fishing for catfishing. You don't remember that, Tim?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he was on a boat catfishing when he won that pole.
Now, I don't know what you're talking about, jugs, Mike, but before you tell me that, my buddy lived on a lake, and he used to go out every night at like 6 o'clock at night, and he'd buy the cheapest can of dog food he can, and he'd just pierce some holes in it and throw it in the same spot for a week to 10 days, and then he would fish that spot, and we pulled up like a 25-pound channel cat one day. I thought it was stuck on the bottom because they don't really fight that big. I'm like, what is on? There's something on here, and pulled up this big monster channel cat. So is that what you're talking about with the jugs?
Jugs, it's a lot of fun. I do a lot of rod and reeling and bank pole. I just like to catfish. But jugs, I got 5 foot of tarred trot line, egg sinker, a couple hooks. Mm-hmm. I got a way to set them up, but we drift. It's like drift fishing, but you got 30 of them set, and so that's 60 hooks. And you say it's lazy fishing, but it's commercial fishing.
Yeah.
It's a 3-man job, and once you get them baited, you're running up and down and chasing them and pulling fish off, rebaiting, cutting bait, and until
so the milk jugs just kind of float. You see the jug moving or going under a little bit. You got and you chase them down.
Yeah, I try to keep them in a line. Depends on the flat, the if I'm fishing an edge, the channel, the wind, the current, and get them bait and set, and then they'll start swimming off, and you're just then the work begins. You're chasing them down, pulling fish off, trying to keep them together.
So what do you do with all the fish?
We eat them.
I didn't know if you sold them or.
No, if I move back to Arkansas, I can get a commercial license. They're only $25, but Thursday nights. Help out at a recovery ranch, guys that get out of prison, and they take 20 guys and try to help get them, back back to work, through the system, and trying to because it's broken. But anyway, there's probably 80 guys out there on Thursday nights.
Wow. It must be a big lake.
Yeah. Well, Worcester and Kerr, but I mean, we feed. We got church dinners and stuff, and then friends. And I trade fish at the paint store. I traded fish for the paint for my boat. There's a $150 kit, that alphatic, epoxy urethane. Yeah, it was 5 bags of fish or $150. So I traded fish. So,
Mike, have you ever done that noodling thing?
Yeah.
That's got to be scary, though, man. Yeah.
I think I posted a picture or two, but I'd rather rod and reel or jug fish than noodling. But
that seems like a hot chick. That seems like a hot chick thing now. Like all the chicks do it. You know what I mean? Noodling.
Hey, I'm a big old boy, but it can be a little spooky.
Yeah, there's no question that it has to be a little weird.
Yeah.
Put your hand in a random hole.
Yeah, sticking your hand in a random hole and waiting for something to grab a hold.
You got your spots.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is it's like anything else. You got your spots, and you keep those secret, and you make sure nobody's around when you go check your holes. But blues go in earlier, and then blues are aggressive. They'll bite you like 4 or 5 times before you can get your hand away. They come up like, they call it thunder. Boom, 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 boom. And they'll just bite you. But them flatheads, they'll just slowly bite and hold on. But when you feel that hole, it'll be real smooth and silty. Well, that's because they've been in there fanning it with their tail, and they're cleaning it, to lay eggs. But
right.
If there's a bunch of trash or something, you just move on.
Right.
Because there's nothing there. So, but
fishing tips with Big Squeegee.
I'd rather.
Yeah. I'm still after him to start a YouTube channel, to do the fishing channel. I don't know why he doesn't do it. He'd have a bajillion followers.
I would watch it.
He would have a bajillion followers. He'd be making money off of YouTube if he just do a fishing channel. You're such an awesome guy. You're like the best dude ever, man. You were like when me and Seth were on our way home. That was what we discussed on the way home.
Yep.
Jason Snyder too. Like that, you were the highlight of the day. You were the highlight of the trip.
That.
I mean, you smelled really good. I got foo-foo spray in the mail like a week later. I still have about this much of that left. I only use it on special occasions.
I spray it every morning.
Yeah, it's so good. Big Squeegee foo-foo spray. Yeah.
Hey, Mike. I don't know if it's off limits, but are we allowed to talk about your venture?
That's up to you guys.
Go ahead.
No, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I'd like you to talk about.
Go ahead.
Mike.
Yeah.
Promote it here.
We should definitely. I mean, we've got about 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, 5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes. Let's. If you want to talk about it, I think you should.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, it was a couple years ago. Started picking up these mid-rise jobs. They wanted water fed. They didn't want anybody hanging off the building. They didn't want lifts out. They wanted water fed. And it was 2 years ago, February. And I'm like, why do we have a brush, a valve, and a bronze pad holder? Why can't we just use a pure water rinse on some sort of pad instead of all the extras? And so I went to a company and asked them, hey, and they told me it won't work. And so I just started. It's been 2 years working on, I sent you guys one that had some 3D stuff done, and I give up on it. I'm like, well, but I'm on a car ride to Nashville to a wedding, and I'm looking at stuff online, like how can I build an aluminum piece or a stainless piece? And I'm chatting with Mark, like how, I'm sending him pictures of the part, like how can we do this? And he's like, oh, you just take this and this and this and this, and I'm like, that's it.
Mark Tanner.
That's it. So there we go. We bypassed.
Well, Mike sent me the pad, and I used it on a really big furniture store. And I said, Mike, the only issue I'm seeing with it is not staying flat on the glass. And then we were talking about pivots, and we both had some ideas. And I'm like, I'm gonna go in my shop and I'm gonna send you some pictures. And I made it out of aluminum. Now I know he's getting it he's getting it made, and I got to tell you, it's a great product, you know.
Yes,
And he's
yes.
working with Ray now, right?
Right.
And they're
it was last. I had to give it up, and then somehow I was talking to Ray last. I had the kids. We were at the lake. We went swimming, and then him and I ended up talking forever on the phone about, you know, I'd tried to do this thing, and I just kind of give up, you know, because I needed a rinse bar and I needed some sort of angle adapter pivot, but I can do the rest. And then he has the bronze wool, and then he's coming, you know, he's got his own rinse bar, and so there it is. And then come up with, I was going to go with aluminum. I've got some with the aluminum in the van. I've been using them for 2 years, you know, some form of it, and tried with fan jets. I didn't like the way fan jets work. Anyway, just went a bunch of different directions, but I use one all the time, either with a white pad, bronze wool pad, or I'm real fond of the walnut pad. And
real popular now all of a sudden, you know.
Yeah, well, this has been 2 years in the. But I'm thinking, what can we use for these?
I have evidence.
Commercial
I
buildings?
have evidence that you've been doing it that long. I have evidence, sir. I have receipts.
Yes, yes. So, just an example. There's a good friend of mine. He's out of Springfield, Ewing. We work together on some mid-rise. He comes down, and we work together on the. You know, we got 4,000 piece glass building, and with it should take about 60 something hours, man hours with the boar's hair brush. Well, with the non-abrasive pads, it takes half that,
Right.
because it's cleaning faster.
Right.
And then also you're using
a larger surface area,
a big more surface. You got a bigger surface area using the bronze wool, the rinse bar, the spray rinse bar, and now that pivot. You know, without that pivot, you would do like a section, bring that 72-foot pole down to the ground, adjust your angle, take it all the way back up, and do the next section. So I was talking to Ray a year ago. Hi, hot wife. Hey, look at this.
Hey!
Oh, don't get no taters on.
So talked to Ray, and he's like, "Hey, we were trying to do something similar." And I'm like, "Well, you know, I kind of, you know, this was last spring. You know, I kind of just give up. I've got what works for me, and I've been using it, and I've got big buildings that can prove it. You know, 4 and 5 story stuff, and they're happy." And so he said, "We're working on the same thing," and I'm like, "This is what I got, and this is what he." So I've got the blocks, I've built the swivels, and he's got the bronze wool, he's got the rinse bar, and so I've got components, he's got components, and it's come together.
Conglomeration.
And so I'm like, "Hey, you know, I can do this, ship you this, you finish them out," and I'm just kind of secret in the background. But we'll see what happens. But it's the Battle Cat with the tiger wool and Aerial Pro, and he's
awesome.
Been really great helping me along with this, and just a real nice guy. And
I can say this with what you sent me in, and what, not necessarily what I've done to it, but to make it work for me. And I'm looking forward to that rinse bar, because I need a full size rinse bar. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you this piece of equipment is built like an industrial piece of equipment.
Yes.
So if your pole falls, you ain't going to be breaking it. There's
right.
minimal adjustment that you would ever need to do to it.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's got weight to it, and people are like, well, that's twice as heavy as something similar. But you know what? It's laying on the glass, and that's what's
laying
important.
on. And when you're at 4 stories or even 5, you know, if you're at 70 foot.
Yeah.
My thought process is something that's blowing lots of pure water, something with an aggressive pad. You know, I'm doing these big mid-rise buildings once a year, so you need, you know, a good aggressive pad,
right.
But more surface area for control.
Yes.
You put that regular size brush at 4 stories,
and it's all over the place. Yeah.
it's going to kick your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you have a 3 by 18 inch surface area sticking to the glass, yeah, it might be whatever, but I've got control. And I've been, I've cleaned, thousands of pieces of glass with this thing. And so, and the amount of time it speeds up, and the job itself, it's more aggressive, more, you have more stability at greater heights. And
that was the thing I liked about it
is,
the most was,
and it has the, it lays flat.
Right.
And so
I had to mod it.
not,
I didn't mod it as cool as Mark probably did, but I made it work. You know what I mean?
Right.
I made it work.
Right.
Because what you initially gave me, those 3D printed sockets, all I did was screw it on the end of the pole and it broke. And I was like, I sent a picture to Mark. I was like, well.
Yeah, mine too.
Well.
But like I said, I kind of took it back to my drawing board and said, I got this laying around and that laying around. And aluminum for me is, I got piles of scrap stuff. And I'm like, aside from the socket breaking, once I put something else on there, but when it got the pivot to work,
I just took a pivot from a different company's tool and put it on there and said, screw it.
Yeah. But I can tell you
works.
this: I saw Mike's design of the pivot is going to hold up.
Good.
It's
awesome.
made.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this thing.
It's dope, man.
The blocks are solid. It's all stainless parts. And
You have one to show, Mike? I'll go get mine. It's in my truck.
I sent Ray.
Mark will go get his.
I've got some out in the van.
I'll go get it.
Mark will go get it.
Right.
Might as well. We'll let this go a little bit longer just so people can see it. This will be everyone's exclusive. Yeah, this is an exclusive. This is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Cool. I know hard work pays off, and a lot of great ideas take a while to
right, and that's what I told him. That's what I told him when
at the right time.
when I first used it. I was like, well, this kind of sucks about it. And he's like, yeah, I'm with you on that sucks about it. And then like I said, I switched the swivel out, and I was like, man, this thing is, if you get that sorted out, this is gonna be awesome. You know what I mean? And Mark's like, we gotta figure it out. And I was like, of course you do, Mark. And dude, it's gonna be super dope, man. It's gonna be super dope.
And I've learned you have to be quiet about things in
Yes.
this industry.
Yes.
So
Yes, you have
it's
to.
been really, really difficult, and today, it just happened today was the promotional. So
Right.
it wasn't, and that wasn't planned. It just finally
happened, yeah.
fell into place.
Right.
And IWCA and it's finally come together. So I've been using this thing.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you.
We'll
That's
see what
dope.
happens. I'm fired up, but
Just over the last few years, and the little bit of behind the scenes, knowing what you were going through with it, it's dope that it's finally gonna come to fruition for you. It's pretty dope. That's good.
like I said, I'd given up. Like, I'm using it. I'm making money.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
I've spent thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I
still
remember
got
our conversation about that, and you were like, well, I ain't really doing nothing with it, but I'm making money with it, so there's nothing else. I'm like, well, that's all you can do. Eventually, it'll come together,
Yeah, I've given a bunch of them away. Like, here, I spent this money, you can have it.
Right?
It's sitting in a closet.
Right.
Might as well. I need that room for my wife's shoes.
Right. Mark's like, I'll go get one. It only took him 17 hours to go get it.
He likes the.
He's got
likes
little
the blue
legs.
pads.
Right.
Yeah.
Mark's different,
All right.
man.
What's
I
that?
said you're different. Go ahead.
I'm excited.
Okay, so now keep in mind this has other parts from other manufacturers. So I had to go with what Mike sent me, but I know I'm fortunate enough where I'll get his rinse bar. Okay, so I like the blue pad on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now here's the top.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there's the pivot that we built for it.
Uh-huh.
You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and he had these rinse jets on it. I like the rinse bar
Uh-huh.
Right.
that I attached on here. But so as you're going up and down on the glass, if you notice the pivot, it's staying completely flat. And
Right.
just this little 30 degrees of movement is a 20
all you
foot,
need.
20-foot tall window.
Right,
One
right.
window. So you literally don't have to move.
Right.
It just stays flat on the glass the
Right.
whole time. So I'm looking forward to, again, getting Mike's rinse bar to put on here and a couple different. I'm not saying that because I want one. I'll gladly pay you, or Ray. But
well, this is not technically what they're selling, but it's kind of like it.
This is like a prototype.
That's one of the originals.
That's the prototype.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have. If you were gonna do that, I could have went out in the truck and got mine. If you were gonna show all the other stuff from other people's shit.
Well, you know the basic point of it. I don't have.
I'm just messing with you, Mark.
I saw it at the trade show, but I know Ray was guarding that thing like a pit bull. Until I told Ray I knew Mike,
right.
And I helped Mike with this design. Then he kind of let the guard down. He was guarded with it. I'm like, dude, I know what that is.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Right.
And I'm glad that you lined up with him because he's got some. He's like almost. He's Richie Blue in a different way. He's got some very innovative ideas. And he's got the marketing side of it, obviously, and speaking with him because he's been involved in a lot of production of different things. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to you guys launching that.
Yeah, it's nice, not having to handle marketing and sales and I clean windows and I put those together right here at my dining room table.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got all my stuff and sit there, put them together and box them and ship them to Ray, and then he finishes them out and it just worked. He had the parts I needed. I have the parts he needed. So I'd rather have a little bit of money and less hassle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to be the big dog.
People don't realize how much it takes to take a product from a thought, an idea, to a physical being or a prototype, and then to get it to market. Aside from the amount of time that you have to dedicate to that.
2 years.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a simple look. It's pretty simple.
We've been working on thick wind chimes for longer than that, I promise you.
I want you to know, Tim, that there's a lot of research and development going on with that. Just ask Mark and Seth.
The struggle is real.
Well, guys, I got to tell you this, man. This has been an awesome podcast. It's everything I thought it was going to be. Mike is a sweet dude. If you got a chance to ever go fishing, call Mike. He'll take you.
Yeah,
Mike is really good at that. And keep a lookout for.
I want to go jugging.
Yeah, keep a look.
I do.
Keep a lookout for the what is it called? The Battle Cat. Keep a lookout for that. I mean, I'm sure it's out for sale. Maybe not. But go out and get yourself one. If you're a water-fed pole guy, go get you one, man. I can tell you from personal experience using, well, not technically the Battle Cat, but like the precursor to that. It's really cool. It's very, very cool. You will definitely dig it. Mike, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
And, we'll be back next week. Next week, we're going to have Ron Musgraves on. We're going to talk about fiber and, all kinds of cool stuff, man. It's going to be great. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. And, I don't know, man. Our sponsors are cool. WCR, windowcleaner.com. Go check them out. Maker Products at Maker Products. They make everything cool there, don't they? I mean, almost everything they make there is cool. I know there's some new stuff that's heading over the water right now. Everyone's going to be really jazzed up about. Go check that out at maker.com or windowcleaner.com. You know what I mean? American Window Cleaner Magazine, all our Patreon members, all you guys. You guys are awesome. If you want to support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com, become a patron. And tomorrow the code drops for Patreon members to get percentage off on their hoodie doos and their hottie ha's over there at squeegeelife.com. It's going to be super sweet, man. So, yeah, man. Hey, and if you want to advertise on our show, you can always give us money and we'll talk about your stuff on here. So, yeah, there's that too. But we'll see you guys again next week. Thank you again, Mike. You're the best. See you guys later.
Mike.
Peace.
See you next week.